All right, so as I talked about in my last video, Gorilla Technology released their earnings on Wednesday, June 18th, after the market closed. And in short, they were really, really strong earnings. And as you can see by the price rise on Friday, because the market was closed on Thursday, the market really, really loved it. Up more than 30, up 30, almost 35% on Friday. So I'm just going to overview, what I loved, kind of just what they announced, and then in the actual earnings, and then in the earnings call, which is also was a big, in my opinion, a big reason why the stock jumped so much on Friday. Just so in terms of the actual earnings, so they announced increased revenues 18.3 million year over year, 109% growth year over year, which is what you love to see. It seems like their transition phase where they kind of saw a huge drop is completely out the window, and now you're just kind of seeing this steady growth phase where they're not even steady, just exponentially growing at this point. And it'll be hard to keep up 109% year over year growth, but we'll see. You never know with Gorilla. And they also, this is a huge part, that currently hold $33.8 million in cash, and they are lowering their debt as we speak, to 18.4 million. So that's what you love to see out of a small company, and very little risk of going bankrupt. They're not, penny pinching. They're not counting on every single dollar. They're very financially sound. And their EBITDA was good. Net income, they're still kind of losing a little bit of money, but they adjust it so that they make money. Hopefully in the future you can just see them make money, not lose it, because I think the currency they operate in, the Egyptian currency, gets heavily devaluated when you try to change it to US dollars, and that kind of loses all their money. And so obviously the numbers were very good, but a huge part of the earnings was the earnings call, and just the announcement everyone was kind of waiting for, some updates on projects, what to kind of expect for the future, because maybe not everyone knew this, but I definitely knew that Gorilla is going to grow financially. They're in a heavy growth phase, but the biggest thing for them is, can they keep that up with new projects? Again, they announced this $5 billion pipeline, now exceeds $5 billion. So that's $5 billion in signed contracts. With their contracts they talked about in the earnings call are starting to become more long-term focused. They're not signing 1 year, 2 year contracts. It's like most of them are like 5 to 7 years to 10 years even, which is what you love to see. Again, that recurring revenue is great for Gorilla. And then one of the huge things they announced on their earnings call is the smart education deal for Southeast Asia, and how quickly that's going to be announced. They announced it a little while back as an MOU, so it was kind of just like an idea that both sides thought was beneficial. And he said, Jay said, their CEO, that they are weeks away from announcing, maybe even sooner than weeks away, from announcing an official signed agreement for many years to come, of Southeast Education Girl, helping them with the AI aspect of that. And that would be huge. That's going to be a huge deal, hundreds of millions of dollars, presumably. And that's probably going to send the stock price up a lot more. And, this is really where you want to be if you're a Gorilla shareholder. Because, you look at the 6-month chart, we've been stuck in this, I've been talking about this for a little while now, stuck in the 16 to 20 range, and we kind of broke out of it. And then we kind of sunk back down waiting for earnings. And then boom, we really, really, really broke through that level. And now we're back to the levels we were before, the Liberation Day problems and last earnings, which is really where you really want to be. And if I were to guess, I think we're going to keep on rising next week into maybe hopefully the 30s. And then the next thing to look out for is that huge smart education deal, which could send us to 40 and beyond. Gorilla is in a really, really solid spot. That's why it was really important to be patient when they were at their lows, because I knew, even though they were quote unquote struggling, there was no business issues, but their stock was struggling. I know their business, where it's headed, and this is one of the most promising business stocks I think in the market right now. Just for only a $500 million market cap, and their pipeline exceeds $5 billion. And they have new contracts on the way, and their CFO even said, this quarter is going to be the weakest for the year. They're still expected 100 to 115 million dollars in revenue, and they only reported 18 this quarter, so be on track for 72 million but they're expecting much more. So their other quarters are going to be much stronger. They also have said in the past that the second half of the year, so we are in the second half of the year now, is going to be very heavy in contracts. And the first half of the year, we did see a couple contracts, but nothing. We haven't seen really any new contracts in the last couple months. And the CEO has said that he has been very quiet and very careful with what he says because he really doesn't want the short selling to happen again. And he's really been smart with it. And I think that's the reason you saw this huge earnings jump. And I think next week you can probably expect another jump. So, if you're not already invested, it's still early. I obviously am very happy with the 40%, almost 40% returns we saw in the one day. But, I got in much earlier than this, but I think there's definitely much more to come. I think we could see 40 very, very soon. And then obviously this could be a multi-billion dollar company in the future. We're talking $50 to $100 billion company in the future, just based on if they continue to scale like they have been. Obviously it's not easier said than done. They have to keep signing these contracts. But what I think is really to be excited about is, the CEO pretty much guaranteed a new contract in the next couple of weeks, which is going to send this thing so much higher. So, obviously great news. I'm really happy that Gorilla was able to perform. And, if we missed earnings this time, it would really be scary because then you'd probably be back to the 15 levels and we'd really be stuck there for a couple months. So these were really, really crucial earnings. And there are still, the best part is that there are still great things that come. It's not like this is a one and done. It's not like it's just going to go back down to 20. Maybe momentarily it'll see a little drop just because people are taking profits or shorters are trying to short this thing down. But this is really just the beginning. Just reiterating what's to come for Gorilla. It's a growing company, and it's growing really fast. So, obviously let me know what you think. Hopefully, I know great things are to come for Gorilla. So if you're invested, I would definitely say hold. And then if you're not invested, I would 100% say buy as much as you can. If you hadn't already before earnings. Let me know what you think in the comments. And thanks for watching. See you next week.